Welcome back to Face the State. I'm Ariana Bennett. Thank you for staying with us. Well, I am back with Vice Admiral Gunn to learn more about what brought him here to Northern Nevada and what he's fighting for really around the country. Thank you once again for your time.
It's exciting to be here and talking to you about what I consider to be one of the most important topics of our time.
Absolutely. So you spoke to the Nevada legislature. Tell me why. Why'd you come here?
Sure. One of the many things that we need to do as a nation, Nevada needs to do as a state, in my estimation, for the national security purposes of the United States, is move largely to a renewable energy economy. There are great things happening in Nevada. When I was here in September, I had the privilege of talking here in Reno and Carson City and in Las Vegas to folks who were excited, enthusiastic about the changes that were being made and about the potential for changes in Nevada in renewable energy. And of course, you're all familiar with the great enterprises which have chosen to come to Nevada, many of them right close to here in Western Nevada. The reason I'm back this time is because now there are some really critical issues being discussed in the legislature. And of course, the legislature has limited time to deal with this. And so some of the members of the Senate thought it would be a good idea if I came back, because the national security message I bear when we talk about shifting to renewable energy as part of an overall approach to mitigating and confronting climate change, among other things, will make us as a nation stronger and can be demonstrated right here. Ariana, the network, the grid, the electrical grid in the United States is in extraordinarily bad shape. It is vulnerable to attack and to the effects of weather. It was designed effectively 100 years ago. Pieces of it are still 100 years old. It's exposed above ground in almost every circumstance. Physical attacks have occurred on the grid. And the reason I'm focusing on the grid is because the development of renewable energy sources, distributed generation, like wind and solar and geothermal and the like, will be ultimately delayed if the grid is not flexible enough, is not resilient enough to be able to accept the new forms of energy, won't be able to sense the needs, the demand signal from the customer in order that the system will provide the energy of the type that's needed when it's needed. And so I'm excited to be here and talk to the legislature about the national security advantages of the kinds of things that are being considered here. It's my estimation that Nevada's going to do in the very near future the things that the rest of the country should emulate. Nevada can be, will be, I believe, a national leader and will help to restore the U.S. position of leadership in the overall worldwide shift to a new energy economy.
Now, part of that is changing attitudes, and that's hard to do. I think change in general is hard. You're talking logistically, but also when it comes to the way we think about our energy.
Sure.
So what have you encountered when speaking to people here? Do you think people want this?
I was encouraged by the vote on the Energy Choice Initiative. I mean, 7 out of 10 saying, yes, we want choice, is a great signal from the population. I see that the responsiveness of the legislature is absolutely there. You know, everywhere I go in the country, and I've been to Texas and Iowa and North Carolina and Michigan several times, we see the natural tension that occurs when these kinds of big changes are being talked about. Tensions between legislatures and regulators and consumer representatives and utilities, all that's very natural. As a matter of fact, it's important that these arguments take place. This discussion reveals all of the issues that need to be surfaced. But I think ultimately energy will be more reliable. It will be produced in a way that's more useful to the ratepayers. It will be satisfying to the utilities for return on investment. It will be something that will be easily regulated and governed, and it's going to be less expensive.
Okay, well, we have 4 minutes left, which I realize is not a lot of time to talk about how to completely change our energy infrastructure. But just best case scenario, what would our energy picture look like? Would it be 100% renewable?
Close to that. And it would happen, I'm not sure, it will happen in the next 30 years. It's a great goal to have. As a matter of fact, there's a new renewable standard being considered by the renewable portfolio standard being considered by the legislature. That's pretty aggressive. I don't know whether that's the one that is going to result from these discussions, but if you don't have big goals, then you don't make big changes. The people of Nevada have been whipsawed a little bit by changes in the rooftop solar rules. All that, I think, is on the way to being rectified. And ultimately, we will capitalize, I think, on all forms of energy. The Military Advisory Board at CNA believes that there's an all-the-above sort of approach that's going to work. Less fossil fuels. As a matter of fact, oil and natural gas can be used for many other things than propelling vehicles and heating and creating electricity. So they're valuable in their own way for other uses. But in the meantime, the new technologies that are growing here, the innovation, the intellectual firepower here in Nevada, I think is going to help show the way.
Okay. Now, you seem to be approaching this from a more grassroots level, kind of going state to state, talking to people and state legislatures. Federally, we're not really seeing these priorities at least being put out right now in terms of encouraging renewables and discouraging fossil fuels.
Right.
What do you see happening with that?
I think we're going through a period when there's a lot of doubt at the federal level about the direction that we should pursue. There may have been some mistakes made at the federal level in the past, depending on what your view is about the goals that were established. One of my friends at the state level, who's a highly placed executive, said it doesn't matter whether the Clean Power Plan actually continues to be in force from the federal level or not, because we're going to do what's best for our state. And that means we're going to achieve the goals that we set for ourselves anyway. Personally, I'm concerned about America's leadership in the world in reducing the overall carbon footprint. But at the same time, America needs to be competitive. I think we deserve and can re-earn a position of leadership in technological development. But we have to set the example by doing the things here that need to be done, by cleaning up our own house and getting it in order, so that the other nations of the world will follow us. And there are great advantages to being leaders rather than followers in the transition to the new energy economy.
Absolutely. Okay, we just have about 20 seconds left. Do you have a final message you want people to take away?
I'm excited to be back in Nevada. I think the future is bright. I'm excited by the ideas here and the energy behind them. And I think the path is well established. The leadership here is terrific, and I'm waiting to observe good things happening in Nevada.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I sure appreciate you coming on the show. All right, that is it for this episode of Face the State. But for more information on all of this or to see past episodes, you can just head to our website. That's KTVN.com. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next week.